तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः.
Om Tava Kathāmritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibhiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Shrimadatatam Bhuvigrunanti Ye Bhurida Jana. We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and we are reading the conversations of 5th August 1882. And the conversations happened in the house of Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. And we have seen that after a lot of preliminary talks which endeared everybody to everybody, Sri Ramakrishna started talking of Nirgun Sagun Brahma, and he explained it extremely beautifully. And then he asked Vidyasagar at one point, what is your bhav? And he said that I will disclose it to you some other time. Now, after that, Sri Ramakrishna has been talking and he brings the topic to near to Ishwar Vidyasagar's mind. And he's telling that what is needed is absorption in God, loving Him intensely. So the whole substance of spiritual life, essential for everybody, Karmi, Jnani, Bhakta, Yogi, is that absorption in God, that is loving Him intensely. Through the absorption takes place only through the faculty of love. Karma, the attitude behind that has to be changed. Jnana becomes dry sometimes. But bhakti, that is love, absorption in God, is the only way to get heightened in spiritual life. The nectar lake is the lake of immortality. There is a lake full of nectar, and suppose a man sinking in it does not die, but becomes immortal. So this absorption is equating with sinking in the nectar of immortality, that is God. Some people believe that by thinking of God too much, the mind becomes deranged, because that was the talk about Sri Ramakrishna himself in those days. But that is not true. God is the lake of nectar, the ocean of immortality. He is called the immortal in the Vedas. Sinking in it, one does not die, but verily transcends death. Of little use are worship, oblations, or sacrifice. Why it is printed in between? In the center? Oh, you are having Bengali, na? I think some subheading has come like that.
What is that? What is that? There's a
Now, where is this sentence? Huh?
Page number 55.
55. Before Bhavile Bhave Hruday Hai. Before that song.
No, after that.
तुम्ही जे सब कर्म करते हो ये सब सत्कर्म. কোথায় আছে?
After that song, ভাবিলে ভাবে হৃদয় হয়, after that song, চিত্ত তদ্গত হওয়া তাকে খুব ভালোবাসা.
চিত্ত তদ্গত হওয়া তাকে খুব ভালোবাসা. ঠিক আছে. সুধারিতকে না অমৃতের রথ ওতে ডুবলে মানুষ মরে না, তা নয়. এই যে সুধার রথ আমার নিষ্কাম কর্ম বা কর্মযোগ ও জগতের উপকার, পূজা হোম যজ্ঞ কিছুই কিছু নয়. Is this worship, oblations and sacrifice? That is. In English, instead of the paradenture, it is put in the center of the page, like a wedding. Okay. Now, come back. Of little use are worship, oblations or sacrifice. That means ritualistic work. If the feeling of absorption is not there, they remain simply as work. And the result of work is not God. If a man comes to love God, he need not trouble himself much about these activities. So the aim of these activities is to produce love. And love is absolutely imperative within these activities for spiritual growth. If love has grown, then there is no meaning in these activities. And previously he has said no meaning in these activities. So the substance is that love is the main thing. If it grows through these activities, well and good. If it does not grow these activities, then useless. And when love grows, then these activities are not necessary. So there is a psychological limit beyond which these activities will not take you. After the love grows, these activities may be useful. One needs a fan only as long as there is no breeze. Wonderful example. Fan is an artificial means of cooling oneself. And we have to use it. But if the breeze comes, that is the natural way. Then fan is not necessary. So karma is necessary till we get the grace of God. And if the grace of God has come, our mind has gone to God, then karma is not necessary. So for karma, there is a definite limit. The fan may be laid aside if the southern breeze blows. Then what need is there of a fan? To Vidyasagar. So now he has again prepared the whole ground to talk to Vidyasagar. And this is specifically to Vidyasagar. The activities that you are engaged in are good. Good, huh? It is very good if good and very good. Good is good, very good is spiritual. So, it is very good if you can perform them in a selfless spirit. Selfless spirit? Niswartha.
Nishkam.
Nishkam. In Bengal, it is a combined sentence. Now, important point is renouncing egotism. I think Vidyasagar never had an egotism. What is meant is egoism. You know the difference? Egoism is the natural ahankar in man. Egotism is too much pride, vanity, then it is called egotism. And Vidyasagar was quite a humble gentleman. You know something about Vidyasagar, I want to tell you now. That he could not orient himself spiritually till the end. Now, doing good to others, he did try it all life. What is the result, you know?
People used to criticize him.
Huh?
People used to criticize him many times because
One day, somebody told Vidyasagar that so and so was criticizing you. Vidyasagar said, why? I don't remember to have done something for him. So, for whomever Vidyasagar worked, he got criticism. Why? Swami Pitambarananda has explained that if you do good to a man 99 times and 100th time you are unable to do it, then the man remembers only that you did not do. On the other hand, if you forget God 99 times but remember him once, then God remembers that only, that this man has remembered. So that is what happened to Vidyasagar. Now Thakur is telling him, activities are good. In themselves, activities are selfless. So that is good. And if it is done without egoism, it is very good. Renouncing egoism, mane kya? Giving up the idea that you are the doer. So this changes in one stroke, the activities become spiritual. Selfless does not mean only nishkam. Selfless means not less of self. If there is no self. So you are not the doer. God is the doer. This in one stroke changes the activities into spiritual activities. But this is knowledge. And it's very difficult to feel this. First you have to know this knowledge. And then you have to feel like that. So this is the whole difference between good work and spiritual work. If you feel, if you know that you are not the doer, then we will not have to reach the fruits also. And that will only result in purification, evolution. And we will be able to feel God afterwards. So that is the main part of Karma Yoga, that you are not the doer. This Vidyasagar might not ever have got. Thakur is opening out the spiritual path for Vidyasagar. Through such action, one develops love and devotion to God. So if God is the doer, I am the instrument of God, then this develops a relation with God and love for God and devotion for God. And ultimately realizes Him. When the love or devotion grows, the man realizes God. So this is the Karma Yoga. Your activities may be nishkam, but if you can feel, I am not the doer, that is ahankar rahit. Not only kamana rahit, but I am not the doer. Ishwar, God is doing. So doership goes away. And when the doership goes away, you experience God. And when you experience God, the love and attraction will grow more and more. Ultimately, you will get absorbed in God, realize God. So, in 2-3 sentences, Thakur has chalked out the best course for Vidyasagar by telling him good work and very good work. The more you come to love God, the less you will be inclined to perform action. So this is automatic. If you can tell your mind that you are not the doer, God is the doer, then love will come. Devotion will come. Ultimately you will realize how the more you love Him, the less you will feel inclined to action. The mind will not be bahirmukh. If you love God, the mind is drawn inside towards God. And so the outgoing tendency which is needed for any work will not be there. When the daughter-in-law is with the child, this is Thakur's genius, wonderful example. Because these are not cut and dried categories. Up to this work, then no work. So, and through this, that more you love, the less inclined will be you to do work. When the daughter-in-law is with child, her mother-in-law gives her less work to do. These are ancient Indian or ancient traditions everywhere. And as time goes by, she is given less and less work because the attention is inside. When the time of delivery nears, she is not allowed to do any work at all, lest it should hurt the child or cause difficulty at the time of birth. So a point comes, even in the life of karma yogis, that they do not work. They become absorbed in meditation. So they do not work. Example plenty. I have given that example many times. There was a great Swami Shantanandaji. When Mahapurush Maharaj engaged himself in hard struggle, tapasya, in the Kashi Advaita Ashram, Shantan Swami, with two of his brother disciples, went by walk to Jaramat and asked Mother, please give us sannyas. What will you do after that? We will go Niruddesh. Without any proper planning, we will just go into wilderness. She said, no, that I will not allow. You want to walk depending on God. So from here you go to Kashi. I am giving you Gerua colored, ochre colored cloth as a symbol of sannyas which you want. I do not know your ritualism. So with these Gerua cloths, you walk from here to Kashi. And there, Tarak is living, Swami Shivananda. You tell him that Mother has sent, and he will give you name and he will complete your rituals. They went, told Mahapurush, give them sannyas. And then, after some time, the other two came back. Shantananda remained in extreme tapasya like Mahapurush Maharaj. Now, Mahapurush Maharaj was about to come back to Belur Math. Inspired by Swami Vivekananda's ideas and Niranjan Maharaj's prompting, some people had formed the Kashi Sevashram. And always there is a shortage of workers. So they required Mahapurush Maharaj. There are two separate ashramas. Kashi Advaita Ashram started by Mahapurush Maharaj and Kashi Sevashram started by Charu Babu under the inspiration of Swami Vivekananda and Niranjananda. So he asked Mahapurush Maharaj, Maharaj, will you tell Shantananda to do some work for us? He told Shantananda, you help these people. And then Mahapurush Maharaj came back to the Math. After 6 months, Charu Babu again writes to Mahapurush Maharaj, Maharaj, we are not complaining, but Shantananda did work because you told him to do so. Now he does not do work. We have no complaint because we know whole day is absorbed in God. But he did because you told him. So will you please tell him once more to do work for us? To that Mahapurush Maharaj replied, if he has worked for 6 months, now I will not tell him. So this is their life. He did work, but it became less and less. And then time of delivery, full work stopped. This happened when 1910 or like that. I saw Shantanandaji in 1969. 69. He used to live in front of Premananda. He used to live in Premananda Memorial Building. And he used to come out, lie down or sit in a perambulator. And he would be lying down, just absorbing thought. So, all these examples are there in Ramakrishna Mission. So a time comes when he cannot work. All work is stopped. In some places, there is one more sentence. After the childbirth, the mother, for some days, remains with the child only. After God realization, that man lives with God. By these philanthropic activities, you are really doing good to yourself. Swamiji's Karma Yoga, there is a chapter. You do good to yourself, not to others. How? Your mind will get purified. That is the main benefit. Because how much can you do to others? If you can do them disinterestedly, your mind will become pure and you will develop love of God. As soon as you have that love, you will realize Him. As soon as He says, that means that is the force which will take you up. Man cannot really help the world. God alone does that. Immortal words. He who has created the sun and the moon, who has put love for their children in parents' hearts, endowed noble souls with compassion, and holy men and devotees with divine love. The man who works for others without any selfish motive really does good to himself. So this is all under man cannot really help the world, God alone does. The man who works for others without any selfish motive really does good to himself. There is gold buried in your heart. Straight away he stopped now. But you are not aware of it. It is covered with a thin layer of clay. Thin layer. If you could make little effort, you will grow. Once you are aware of it, all these activities of yours will lessen. That has come up. After the birth of her child, the daughter-in-law in the family busies herself with it alone. Everything she does is only for the child. Her mother-in-law doesn't let her do any household duties. at least for some days. How Ishwara Vidyasagar's eyes were not open? Because that ego and that addiction. Now Thakur is inspiring him. Go forward. And on that he is telling a full story. A woodcutter once entered a forest to gather wood. A brahmachari said to him, unmarried sage, who is not formally a sannyasi, that is called a brahmachari, said to him, go forward. He obeyed the injunction and discovered some sandalwood trees. Allegorical, this is that. After a few days he reflected, the holy man asked me to go forward. He didn't tell me to stop here. So he went forward and found a silver mine. After a few days, he went still further and discovered a gold mine. And next, mines of diamonds and precious stones. With these he became immensely rich. So, in going depth, more and more, love of God, ultimately, you get everything. Through selfless work, love of God grows in the heart. So one must know what is the aim and end of work, is to get the love of God. Then through His grace, one realizes Him in course of time. God can be seen. One can talk to Him as I am talking to you. So directness of experience is emphasizing. And if you do work properly, you will come to this point. Through selfless work, love of God grows in the heart. In silent wonder, they all sat listening to the Master's word. They were very new to all of them. It seemed to them that the goddess of wisdom herself, seated on Sri Ramakrishna's tongue, was addressing these words not merely to Vidyasagar, but to all humanity here for its good. It was nearly 9 o'clock in the evening. They had come in the afternoon. The Master was about to leave. So the crux of meeting Vidyasagar is this. Master to Vidyasagar, with a smile, the words I have spoken are really superfluous. You know all this, you simply aren't conscious of it. You know all this theoretically, but you are not conscious of it. That means your consciousness has not changed accordingly. There are countless gems in the coffers of Varuna. Varuna is the upkeeper. But he himself isn't aware of them. So many are there. Vidyasagar with a smile. You may say as you like. That means he has not fully understood or agreed. Masters, smiling. Oh yes, there are many wealthy people who doesn't know the names of all their servants and even unaware of many of the precious things in their houses. So that is the simile. So it is not as you like, but he is speaking the truth, scriptural truth. All laugh because such a strange example he has given. He does not know names and he does not know how much treasure he has. Everybody was delighted with the master's conversation. Again, addressing Vidyasagar, he said with a smile, "Please visit the temple garden sometime. I am in the garden of Rasmani. It is a charming place." So for a return visit, Thakur is telling him. Had he gone, he would have benefited. Vidyasagar, he takes it as a formal. Oh, of course I shall go. You have so kindly come here to see me, and shall I not return your visit? So he takes it in that light. Master, visit me? Never think of such a thing. Thakur does not want people to give importance to him as a man unless they understand his spiritual height. Vidyasagar, why sir? Why do you say that? May I ask you to explain? He has not understood this point. Master smiling. You see, we are like small fishing boats. As men, all smile. We can ply in small canals and shallow waters and also in big rivers. But you are a ship. You may run aground on the way. So big ship and waters are smaller. So Thakur does not want that he should be respected for his human qualities. That is not going to help. You may run aground on the way. Vidyasagar remained silent. Sri Ramakrishna said with a laugh. So Vidyasagar could not catch the spirit. Why is telling no? Return back. Sri Ramakrishna said with a laugh, but even a ship can go there at this season, rainy season. So it was figuratively. Vidyasagar smiling. Yes, this is the monsoon season. So that much he understood. M said to himself, this is indeed monsoon season of newly awakened love. But it did not awaken that love. At such times, one doesn't care for prestige or formalities. Sri Ramakrishna then took leave of Vidyasagar, who with his friends entered the master to the main gate, holding the way with a lighted candle in his mind. So what is called upasana these days, that much he understood. Before leaving the room, the master prayed for the family's welfare, going into an ecstatic mood as he did so. So Thakur has tried his best to awaken Vidyasagar. As soon as the master and the devotees reached that gate, they saw an unexpected sight and stood still. In front of them was a bearded gentleman of fair complexion, aged about 36. Who is that? He wore his clothes like a Bengali, but on his head was a white turban tied after the fashion of the Sikhs. No sooner did he see the master than he fell prostrate before him. Turban and all. When he stood up, the master said, "Who is this Balaram? Why so late in the evening?" Balaram replied, "Balaram, I have been waiting here for a long time, sir." "Master, why didn't you come in?" Balaram, "All were listening to you. I didn't like to disturb you." The master got into the carriage with his companion. Vidyasagar to M, softly, "Shall I pay the carriage fare?" M, "Oh, don't bother, please. It is taken care of." So there were arrangements. He will pay, he will pay. Vidyasagar and his friends both to Sri Ramakrishna with the cottage started for Dakshineshwar. But the little group with the Venerable Vidyasagar at their head holding the lighted candle, Thakur is not holding, that group is holding, stood at the gate and "Good afternoon," the master used until he was out of sight. They stood transfixed until Sri Ramakrishna's boat goes outside, they stop. So Thakur taught Bhakti Yoga and some people have picked it up immediately. Thakur is still in the talking mood, huh? To Kedar and other devotees. We have met Kedar previously. He is the faith and devotion. God can be realized through all paths. All religions are true. The important thing is to reach the roof. You can reach it by stone stairs or by wooden stairs or by bamboo steps or by a rope. You can also climb up a bamboo pole. More difficult, but you can. You may say that there are many errors and superstitions in another religion. I should reply, suppose there are many errors and superstitions in every religion. Some may say, you may say, to which Thakur's reply is, suppose there are. Every religion has errors. Don't think that yours do not have. That is the implication. Everyone thinks that his watch alone gives the correct time. It is enough to have yearning for God. It is enough to love Him and feel attracted to Him. Doesn't you know that God is the inner guide? Finally, mind becomes Guru because God is the inner guide. He sees the longing of our heart and the yearning of our soul. Suppose a man has several sons. The older boys address him distinctly as Baba or Papa. But the babies can at best call him Ba or Pa. Now, will the father be angry with those who address him in these indistinct ways? The father knows that they too are calling him. Only they cannot pronounce his name well. All children are the heir to the father. All children are the same to the father. They are children. Likewise, the devotees call on God alone, though by different names. They call on one person only. God is one, but his names are many. So, we come to the talk at Vidyasagar. Huh? But his names are many. And full force is kept in every name. Where is that gone? Vidyasagar asking about certain formalities. No. No. I jumped pages, huh? You did not remind me. Oh. Mm-hmm. A lot of things has gone. No. What has happened? Oh, when did we change the date?
Kedar. The meeting with Kedar is on different date, 13th August.
Oh, Balana, we got stuck up there. Huh? Why didn't you come in?
No, we did that.
That is what we are reading now.
We have read that.
Finished.
Then Ishwar Chandra.
All were listening to you. I didn't like to disturb you. The master got into the carriage with his companion. Vidyasagar to M softly. Shall I pay the carriage here? M. Oh, don't bother, please. It is taken care of. So Vidyasagar is ready with all the formalities like a gentleman. Vidyasagar and his friends bowed to Sri Ramakrishna and the carriage started for Dakshineshwar. But the little group with the Venerable Vidyasagar at their head, holding the lighted candle, stood at the gate and gazed after the master until he was out of sight. So the impression is created. We move on to Advice to Householders, August 13, 1882. The master was conversing with Kedar and some other devotees in his room in the temple garden. Kedar was a government official and had spent several years at Dhaka in East Bengal, when he had become a friend of Vijay Goswami. The two would spend a great part of their time together talking about Sri Ramakrishna and his spiritual experiences. Kedar had once been a member of the Brahma Samaj. He followed the path of bhakti. Spiritual talk always brought tears to his eyes. So this is Kedar's description. And such Kedar was the listener man. Thakur was conversing with Kedar and some other devotees. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Kedar was very happy that day, having arranged a religious festival for Sri Ramakrishna in Dakshineshwar itself. A singer had been hired by Ram and the whole day passed in joy. Festival arranged by Kedar, and in that singer is provided by Ram. It was 5 o'clock in the master explained to the devotees the secret of communion with God. They are all devotees, they know, and the secret Thakur is explaining, Master, with the realization of Satchidananda, one goes into Samadhi. So everything is directed to that finally. Then duties drop away. Duties. Because he has no duties. Suppose I have been talking about the Ustad and he arrives. Ustad is a classical music expert. It's called Ustad. Teacher or expert. What need is there of talking about him then? He has arrived. How long does the bee buzz around? So long as it isn't sitting on a flower. But it will not do for the sadhaka to renounce duties. He should perform his duties such as worship, japa, meditation, prayer and pilgrimage. So the present form of work, karma yoga, which we are doing, principle has not changed. But Swami Vivekananda has expanded the field of work. Because Thakur had told him that with the idea that he is Shiva, worship him. Math. If you see someone engaged in reasoning, even after he has realized God, you may liken him to a bee, which also buzzes a little even while sipping honey from a flower. Out of joy of God's experience, he may talk. The master was, if you even while sipping, the master was highly pleased with the Ustad's music. He said to the musician, there is a special manifestation of God's power in a man who has any outstanding gift, such as proficiency in music. So God's presence is there. If you can feel it, you will make progress. Musician, sir, what is the way to realize God? So Sri Ramakrishna's encouragement has helped him to aspire for that. And he has asked, Master, bhakti is the one essential thing to be sure. God exists in all beings. Who then is a devotee? What is the difference between the devotee and ordinary man? He whose mind dwells on God. God exists in all beings, but if somebody's mind dwells on God, then he is a devotee. But this is not possible as long as one has egotism and vanity. Vanity means pride for nothing. The water of God's grace cannot collect on the high mound of egotism. It runs down. I am a mere machine. So the essential bhava for Kedar must be steady. To Kedar and other devotees, God can be realized through all paths. All religions are true. That is the main point. The important thing is to reach this soul. You can reach it by some stairs, stone stairs, or by wooden stairs, or by bamboo chips. These are the body. But this is not possible as long as one has egotism and vanity. The water of God's grace cannot collect on the high mound of egotism. Just compared like that. It runs down. I am a mere machine. That is, should be the attitude. And Thakur puts it on himself always. Teaches by example to Kedar and the other devotees. God can be realized through all paths. All religions are true. He is repeating this. The important thing is to reach the roof. You can reach it by stone stairs, or by wooden stairs, or by bamboo steps, or by a rope. You can also climb up by a bamboo pole. Like the pole vaults, they do that. You may say that there are many, these are the errors. We had jumped on this. You may say that there are many errors and superstitions in another religion. I should reply, suppose there are. Every religion has errors. Everyone thinks that his watch alone gives the correct time. It is enough to have yearning for God. It is enough to love Him and feel attracted to Him. Don't you know that God is the inner guide? He sees the longing of the heart and the earning of our soul. Suppose a man has several sons. The older boys address him directly as Baba or Papa. But the babies can at best call him Ba or Pa. Now, will the father be angry with those who address him in this indistinct way? The father knows that they too are calling him, only they cannot pronounce his name well. All children are the same to the father. Likewise, the devotees call on God alone, though by different names. They call on one person only. God is one, but his names are many. We go forward. Thursday, August 14, 1882. Sri Ramakrishna was talking to Hazra.
August 14 or 24?
1882, August 24. Thursday, August 24, 1882. Sri Ramakrishna was talking to Hazra on the long northwest veranda of his room when M arrived. That means this was already going on. He saluted the master reverently. So Hazra is a character. He lives with Thakur and he wants to show that he is also great like Thakur. But he has some devotion. Thakur has not driven him out, but he is a person. Master, I should like to visit Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar a few times more. It did not happen. Vidyasagar did not like the idea. When he had not known, he had allowed. He was impressed also, but he was a man of society. The painter first draws the general outlines and then puts in the details and colors at his leisure. The molder first, so Thakur has infinite examples for everything. The molder first makes the image not of clay, image out of clay, then plasters it, then gives it a coat of whitewash, and last of all paints it with a brush. We saw it during our Durga. All these steps must be taken successively. In the beginning, you cannot paint it. Vidyasagar is fully ready, but his inner stuff is covered with a thin layer. Thakur always talks of thin layer, but he did not open it. He is now engaged in doing good work, but he doesn't know that what is within himself. God is hidden within him. God dwells within us. If one knows that, one feels like giving up all activities and praying to God with a yearning soul. If we really know God is within us, we talk like that. So the master talked with him, now standing, now pacing up and down the long veranda. Master, a little spiritual discipline is necessary in order to know what lies within. Is it necessary to practice discipline all through life? There is a sampradaya in Maharashtra and everywhere. Infinite progress. Master, no. Clear. But one must be up and doing in the beginning. After that, one need not work hard. The helmsman stands up and clutches, beautiful example, and clutches the rudder firmly as long as the boat is passing through waves, storms, high wind, or around the curves of a river. That is our turbulent life in Karma Yoga. But he relaxes after steering through them As soon as the boat passes the curve and the helmsman feels a favorable wind, he sits comfortably and just touches the rudder. Next, he prepares to unfurl the sail and gets ready for a smoke. Likewise, the aspirant enjoys peace and calm after passing the waves and storms of woman and God. We'll take it up afterwards. This is one of the very important topics. Remember, August 24, 1882. It's some very deep secrets. We shall come to it tomorrow. Om
Tava
Kathāmritam tapta jivanam kavibhirinitam kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatam Bhuivrinanti ye bhurida jana Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.